20, he's 30, he's Damon, Dominique.
Now starring in 13 going on 30. So what I've gathered is that your name is Damon Dominique. You recently moved out of a crappy apartment, went home to visit some friends and family, and now you seem to be somewhere in a mystery location that you're not telling your audience. Is that what? Exactly correct, yes. Y-E-S, I believe that that's true. Look, my name is Damon. This is the third chapter in this little series we got going on. I don't even know how long this series is gonna go. I don't know if you guys know, but I'm 30, and I somehow bring that up as well every video. Like, in addition to Quora and my ex, we need to add 30 to the list because I keep on bringing it up. Here in this video, we're going to talk about 13 things that I have learned in 30 years. Now, hopefully, there are more than 13 things that I've learned. Here are the 13 that I was able to classify, and the ones that sound good. By the time you've hit 25 even, I think you've lived enough life to start, making full circle moments, right? You can start making links and connections on why certain things make you so upset and why you tend to gravitate towards certain kinds of people. Well, in this video, we're going to talk about just that, and maybe my realizations will better help y'all. What? This video is sponsored by BetterHelp. I've now been doing BetterHelp for about 3 months with my girl Amanda. Thank you to BetterHelp for sponsoring this video. You can get 10% off with my link in the description box below, or right here. As you see, it's BetterHelp, H-E-L-P, BetterHelp. BetterHelp, I'm sure you've seen them all over YouTube. They're a professional counseling service that you can access online, which is good for subscribers of this channel because we're all over the place all the time. You can access BetterHelp online via the website or the application. They have over 15,000 counselors, which means a whole lot of talking and a whole lot of introspection. When you first sign up, you do a short assessment to see what you're looking for in your sessions. BetterHelp matches you with a counselor, okay? They do it for you. They take that whole stress out, and then even if you're not, vibing with your counselor, you can switch. I'll be honest, I switched mine quite a few times, and I was even nervous about that. I was like, I feel bad. I don't want them to feel like they weren't worthy. It was just they weren't exactly the person I was looking for. Then I ended up learning to say, when I started meeting different counselors, hey, I'm just scoping, I'm looking around, and that took a lot of the pressure off. So that's tip 14 actually of this video. You can log into your account at any time. You can message your counselor, you can call your counselor, you can video call your counselor, you can see when they're available. They can give you worksheets. I asked mine, can you give me homework? Freaking nerdy student, can you give me some homework, Amanda? Anyway, BetterHelp is more affordable than offline counseling, and there's also financial aid available. So if you would like to download the app and enroll, use my link below, 10% off, baby, for the first month. All right, let's get into this video. I think that learning about yourself is the most important thing you could do ever. Not only for yourself, but for everyone else out there. Again, you can only meet people as deeply as you've met yourself. What does that even mean? That means that the person you offer to everyone out there on the street, the barista, your Tinder date, your counselor, is only as deep a level as you yourself have figured out. Yourself is the one person you take with you all day long. So anyways, I feel like learning about the things that piss you off and the things that you really love, these are the things we need to figure out, because you could take this information with you everywhere you go. I'm sorry, this is a 15-minute intro, but I wanted to make this video because I see this comment so often in Red Wine Talks. Damn, I wish I had a friend group like that. Well, I can relate to that, because I feel like for so long I didn't have a large group of friends. Or now, even looking back, a lot of my friend group, I realized we weren't really talking to each other. We were talking about ourselves with each other. You meet up with your friends, right? And you're not really connecting, actually. You're just kind of all bringing up things that happened in your days. Oh, I drove to school today and someone cut me off. Or, oh, the barista forgot my order and then they spilled the coffee on me. It's things that happened in your day, but not necessarily you. When I was just visiting home, I sat through a conversation that went like this.
I think it's gonna rain today. Oh yeah, well, you know what they say about Fort Wayne? If you don't like the weather, just wait 10 minutes.
I was That's not just here. That's not unique to Fort Wayne. That's like everywhere. The other guy goes,
oh yeah, Fort Wayne, Fort Rain, right?
I'm just like, you guys, like, just stop it. Like, silence is okay. It is okay. So just shut up. I'm just gonna forward this video to my counselor so she knows what to talk about in the next video. Like, Damon, why did you get so upset at those people having just nice small talk? Because it didn't mean anything. People were talking a lot, not saying anything. Pisses me off. Why aren't they saying anything? Because they probably haven't learned about themselves. They probably don't even have anything interesting to say. But they do. Everyone has something interesting. How do I know that? Because everyone has had a different experience here on Earth, and that in itself is interesting. I don't care who you are, what experience you had. The experience you had is unique. Literally no one else on Earth will have the experience that you have had. Not, like, there has literally been no one experience that has been replicated. What's the Missy Elliott lyric? It can't be duplicated or recycled. My style can't be duplicated or recycled. Tell them. You need to go watch this video real quick. Description box below. Sorella Moore. This is one of my favorite videos I found this year.
How do you deal with that when you just look around and you want people to just like, wake up, come on, look at everything. It's so insane. It's even harder when you see people just going on their merry way, creating like TikToks or whatever, and you're just like, can no one see?
And you know, I'm not somebody who's socially anxious. Never been, luckily. But one way that I am anxious is like, I'm existentially so. Like, I'm asking these questions that make you start questioning your own sanity. Like, is this real? Is any of this real? Or not even that, just like, does any of this matter? You see, it's not like a I'm sad kind of depression. It's more like, cool, there are less people now alive than have lived. Can you name anybody from 100 years ago? Okay, maybe like you're a famous few, but you're 99% of the population, like, how can we be sure of anything when one, none of us have even been off of Earth. Two, there's like billions of planets out there. It's like, what if we're not the only ones here? What if we are the only ones here? Like, what? I was having those thoughts like that get scary. Like, what's going on? What's going on out there? Like, removing yourself from the human body and being like, what? Like, where do memories live? And why can I only remember certain memories at certain times? Who's deciding this for me when it's me? Like, isn't it just me up there? When I actually logged on to BetterHelp, what I was looking for was an existential therapist. Like, I'm asking these huge philosophical questions, you know? Like, I'm less concerned with how someone made me feel, and I'm more concerned with like, whether you felt good or bad, like, does it even matter? Like, those were the questions I was having. And by the way, as I edit this video, I just wanted to mention one more thing. Look, in this moment, I was in a pretty cynical, blasé, jaded place. And what I kept coming back to was like, we can't know anything for sure, so why none of this even matters? And it's like, well, if we can't know anything for sure, then why would you be so like negative about it? Why would you be such a Debbie Downer? You can't know that either. You can't know that none of this doesn't matter. You can't know that there isn't some higher power. You can't know that this is or isn't a simulation. So why would you, like, that's just unproductive. Like, it would be like if you're going to a party and you're that friend who's like, but I'm not gonna have fun. Like you don't know that. Like, there's not gonna be Brussels sprouts there. I'm not gonna have fun. Somebody might have ordered the Brussels sprouts. Somebody might hear that you want Brussels sprouts and bring them to you. You don't know, so it's unproductive to be so cynical. Back to the video. All of these reasons were why I decided to go to therapy. How long are we into this video? I haven't even gotten to my 13 lessons yet.
'Cause life is for living. Let's see where this all might lead.
In my 30 years here on planet Earth, I think the number one thing that I can offer to anybody is that the truth, your truth, will set you free. And I mean this in terms of maybe your sexuality, maybe you wanting to be polyamorous, maybe you having to defy your parents, you deciding you want to quit your job even though you've studied this major for 8 years and you actually don't want to work in it. Like, when have you ever felt worse by telling the truth Again, not the truth in terms of like, well, the truth hurts, I'm gonna tell you how it is. That's not what I mean. I mean, being honest about your motivations for doing certain things. I always thought about it like this, like, how could you ever value someone else's opinion about yourself more than your own opinion about yourself? And in a way, we're all kind of doing that, right? When we aren't honest with others. I'll just use the gay example. Like, again, I've never had an issue with my sexuality. I literally never think about it. And many people do, and that like makes me upset and sad, because I'm like, you're letting them, you're literally prioritizing their opinion of this over your opinion of this. Your opinions should, well, if anything, be equal, but because it's you, you should value yours because it's your experience and you know that you're a good person. So why would you let anyone else tell you that you're not? You know you're cool, you know you got this. Okay, so your opinion don't matter. The peanut gallery, gonna be talking a lot. Like, if people aren't going to like you, you don't need to like them. Like, I understand this gets a little tricky when it's your friends, when it's your close friends and your family, but even that, they conditioned you too. Aren't we all just the average of our closest friends and family? Tell them they gay. Say, you don't like that I'm gay? Well, I'm the average apparently of the 5 closest people around me, so apparently you're the one that that made me do this, that made me this way. A part of me wants to be a therapist, maybe not a therapist, but more like a tough love, like motivation coach. Doesn't matter. Guess what matters? What you think. Guess why? Because you're the one that has to live your life. Guess why else? Because they don't gotta be in it. Guess why else? Because they should be worried about their own life. Next. People are talking about you. Some people are saying really nice things. Some people are like, why do they do this? Why do they do that? Okay? No matter what, people will be talking about you. And even if you're like, you know what, I can't deal with it, I'm gonna just go live in a forest for 3 years and not talk to anybody else, people will still be talking about you. You know what the conversation will be then? Man, I haven't heard from Damon in 3 years. What's he doing out there? What is he running from? Like, the analogy I use is the headphone example, okay? We all have our headphones in and we're listening to music. It don't matter if other people like your music because they don't have to listen to it, but you do. So you want to be listening to music that you like, right? People could be saying whatever they want. As long as you got your music in your ear, that's all that matters. Next. This is where I am thinking that these like terrifying existential thoughts like actually did me some benefit. You start breaking down society and like the government structures and in ways, all these rules and laws and everything that was decided for you before you even were born, right? And we all kind of accept all these rules as fact when really it was somebody just like us who decided them. And yet for some reason, I guess we just kind of mold our lifestyles around these rules. Again, gay rights, like, oh, right, it's just because you said it was wrong and that I can't get married in 100+ countries still. That must be the right way. No, that's just like the old school way of thinking. So these existential thoughts were beneficial in that they made me realize, like, before anything else, I'm free. I'm a free, like, literal mammal who has learned the human way, right? When we're born, we don't even speak a language, you know, we're just like, we're literally creatures. Then we learn the human way, but it's enlightening. It's like empowering to be like, oh shit, right, I'm actually in control, not the government, not all these rules. In fact, a lot of these rules are just a bunch of baloney. Like, I was even to the point where I was thinking, okay, isn't it a little crazy, a little like, what? How did we get to this level? That before you even decide if you want to obey the government, the government can come after you. What? Like, say you're like, I'm out. I don't actually agree with this form of government. I'm gonna go live in another country. First off, that is hard to do because you have to get visas, you have to get passports, like who knows if you're even allowed to leave. All these borders, when you zoom out of Earth, you just see land masses. This was all created. All this shit was created. And you're telling me, a creature on Earth, like that I can't roam the entire thing? And you're also telling me if I want to just go live halfway across the world, my government could like issue a warrant for my arrest and then come find me and then put me in jail, like force me to go to jail. I don't know. You just start like looking at the world a little differently. You're not accepting these structures as fact. Again, a lot of it's in our benefit. Like, I'm happy that I can know that what I'm eating is healthy and not going to kill me. Like, thank you, government. Like, that's good. There's so many aspects in which the government's great for us, but then there are others where I'm just like, whoa. Something's a little off here. I took an existential therapy class where like I was learning like what a therapist would learn, I guess, to get a certificate. And it was so interesting because they said all of our negative emotions can be traced back to 4 existential givens, which is freedom, isolation, death, and meaninglessness. Say, for example, you're a shy person. It's not just that you woke up one day and you realized you were shy. Well, your shyness would be a fear of others mocking you to the point where you would then be in isolation. So that's really like a fear of isolation. You don't want to feel isolated from others, but yet in a way you're still kind of doing that by being shy and not opening yourself up to others. There's like no time for shyness, really. There is no time for shyness in your life. If you're someone who's shy, how dare you? Again, number 1, how dare you let someone else tell you if you're gonna feel comfortable? You are always comfortable in yourself. Others meet you there. Everyone should be comfortable in themselves, and then we all meet and everything's like happy-go-lucky and everyone's enjoying their time. If anyone's making you feel awkward or like uncomfortable, that's shame on them. That's not your fault. That's not like a fault of your personality. That's a fault of their personality. Why would you ever try to make someone feel uncomfortable or out of place? There ain't a room on earth that you don't belong in, baby. There is not a room on earth. You know why? Because we all came from the earth. We all are equal. God. I guess the solution is A, either be comfortable with yourself and don't let anyone else tell you how to be, or the person you portray to others, you should like that person who you're showing off. Or B, be comfortable in being alone, and that you don't need other people's approval or validation to feel good. The other existential givens were freedom, and I really like this one too because this is how they explain how we tend to have anxiety in life. Most of the anxiety that humans feel is a result from having so much freedom. That sounds ridiculous, right? But say you're on the edge of a cliff and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so nervous and anxious. It's not necessarily the height. It's more that like you could jump off if you really wanted to. Like, the option's there. Yeah, you could jump off if you want and it could all be over. And it's really like that freedom. So again, like reframing your anxiety. It's not necessarily that you're so nervous about heights. It's more like you have the freedom to literally do whatever you want. And that's what scares us as humans. We tend to look at anxiety as something that's wrong with us. Like, oh my God, I don't want to be thinking these thoughts, when I believe it's Buddhism that highlights that humans will always have suffering no matter what. And to be honest, I think that's where a lot of my existential thoughts came from. The fact that I didn't have to worry about living paycheck to paycheck anymore. That was a worry like a few years ago. Now the worry has become, even though I have this lifestyle that I've been wanting forever, now the worry is these more bigger out there. Like, okay, cool, now I kind of have the things I want, but what does it mean when you've seen all the places in the world that you've really dreamed of seeing, or you've kind of had the experiences that you've been wanting to have, and now what? You still have like 60 more years here on planet Earth. Like, shut up, brain. Like, let me live. Damn. The point is that anxiety is not going anywhere, and a lot of times we look at it as something that's going wrong, when really it's like, again, just a guise of the freedom that we have. There's so many ways to live this life, boo. And also, if you look at your anxiety, you could probably trace it to either something that happened in the past or something that's going to happen in the future that might happen that you don't know, it just stresses you out. Okay, but neither of those are right now. Like, you're probably good right now. Like right this second, you're probably fine. And so what does that tell you? That any form of anxiety is actually you not being present. Because that's not happening. And the only moment you'll ever have is right now. And right now. And right now. And guess what? Say it with me. Right now. Some philosopher sometime once said that your life begins when you make a decision. What? Yeah, like we're all just kind of like, But the minute you have to decide what major you're gonna be, boom, you like created a stepping stone for your life. Your life is actually unfolding when you make a decision. So again, it's not that you should be bad at decisions or that decisions should make you feel anxious. They should be empowering because you're taking control of your life. We seem to think that there is a right decision. The right decision is the one that you made, because over time, again, it might not be obvious in the moment, but over time, you'll realize that you needed that decision to be made to have this next thing happen and pan out the way it did. Let's play a love game, I don't play games anymore. Why? Because life is like precious. And I know I have all these like kind of out there thoughts sometimes about like what's the point of all this, and like why are you taking a picture of your food, dude? Like you just want to put on Instagram. Why? To show others that you're eating this nice meal. Why? So that you feel cool and other people feel less than. Why? What does that say about like those thoughts? I have that side. But then I also have, this side that's just like, if you want to take a picture of your freaking food, do it. I've realized that I get really upset when people treat life like they have forever. It really upsets me. Because I always think of people who didn't make it, who wanted to live longer, who got some bad news. And then there are so many people just taking life for granted. And I'm just kind of like, here we go again. What's the point of our life if we're not doing something to help progress society? Like, actually, what's the point? Just to like be in a bikini in a jacuzzi and go on the jet ski? Like, that's fun too. Just to like, I don't know, hedonism. Hedonism. We don't play games anymore. Damon, Dominique at 30, Damon, Dominique at 20 was not playing games. If I liked you, I was gonna say it. You know why? Because we could all be gonzo tomorrow. And you know what your thought will be? Oh my God, I should have told them that I liked them. Why didn't I do that? I'm like not afraid of these morbid thoughts. I always think about this. I just got off the plane. If this plane goes down, what's up? If this plane goes down, what's up? Not the plane. How dare you play with the game of life? How dare you have this opportunity and not do something cool with it? There's another sociologist, philosopher, psychologist who created this chart called like Maslow's or Harlow's hierarchy of needs. Those who are living paycheck to paycheck, those who have a stressful family life, they're less worried about these like lofty philosophical ideas that I'm talking about in this video, because they're worried about like getting food on the table, right? Like once you have that level satisfied, fulfilled, you move on to the next one and the next one and the next one. I am fortunately near the top where like I don't have to worry about these things. Like my family, they're doing their thing. Friends are doing their thing. I'm doing my thing. We're all living a pretty good life now. All of us, it seems. So we are able to like be afforded the luxury of thinking about things that aren't like so pertinent à notre existence, you know? I would also say take your own thoughts with a grain of salt, because you got to remember like you have 1 million thoughts per day, right? While you are thinking all of them, they're just thoughts. They're not actually who you are. You can choose which ones you like and which ones you don't like, and you know, those ones can become who you are. The reason I say to take them with a grain of salt is because, I even got in this trap of trying to find things wrong with the things that I like loved doing. One of the things that I was saying was, I'm moving out of my apartment and I find myself so easily giving things away. Like I've never been one to hold on to things. If someone walks into my apartment right now and says, oh, I really like that lamp, I'd be like, do you want it? You can have it. Also, because while I do feel like I collect a lot of things, I like that like kitschy vintage style, I'm not necessarily connected to the items themselves. So if it would make somebody happier to have it, please be my guest. And anyways, I was asking my counselor, Amanda, like, but is that really me being altruistic, or am I doing that because it benefits me too? Like when I was moving out and I was trying to give my stuff away, like, yeah, of course, I feel like I'm generous in that aspect. Like I will, if you want it, you can have it, please. But then I was almost like reframing my mind to be like, no, but you're not doing that to be generous, Damon. You're doing it because it actually helps you, because then you have less stuff to move. So here I was taking this like nice thought and making it like dark when it really didn't need to be. And anyways, Amanda said, well, they could be both at the same time. It's helping you, but it's also helping someone else in that you're having less to move and they're having something they wanted. Or you guys know I love to travel. I even remember asking like, well, why do I love to travel so much? This is what I think now, like, duh, Damon, it's because you're curious about other cultures. You want to talk to people. You want to see what life is like elsewhere because you could have been born there, you know? Your life could have looked so much differently had you been born there. Let's go figure it out because maybe you do want to draw something from that culture. Okay. That was my first thought, okay? But then this like dark, what do they call it? The dark night stage, where you just start like questioning everything. I was like, are you sure that you actually are curious about other places in the world? Or is it just because you are trying to chase some sense of abandonment in order to avoid abandonment by your friends or family, you have to be the first one to leave, so you're abandoning them. So that's why you actually like to travel. Like, what? Yeah, I'm sure there's some of it in there. I am always the first one to leave. I was the first one to leave New York City, left all my friends there, left LA, left Paris a million times. I was excited to go somewhere else and meet new people and like live my life, right? But this new thought in my mind was like, no, you were doing it so that other people couldn't leave first and you would feel abandoned. If I say I love Los Angeles and then one of my friends leaves Los Angeles to move to New York, I'd be like, oh, why don't I move to New York? Like there must be something that I'm not seeing. Because why would they want to move there? And why haven't I thought that? Like those were thoughts that were going in my mind too. And it's like, because everyone's on a different path. It's hard to discredit anyone's experience. This is why I don't get too upset at politics, either side, I guess, certain political parties, because I'm like, well, your experience probably is valid. So whether you grow up in Indiana, where I'm from, and you want to hang on to your guns, I can get that because you're living in the country. You're afraid that someone's going to bust in at night and you want to have your gun for self-protection. That's understandable. Then you have someone in a big city who's like, I don't want a gun on the subway. Get that out of here. Both trying to have a conversation, not seeing eye to eye, not even seeing how the other side might think the way that they do. And so I guess what I'm trying to say is like, if somebody does want to leave Damon, leave Los Angeles and go to New York City, that's because their experience made it so that they're ready to go, but you're not. Also, I'm not in Los Angeles. You gotta watch out for all them good-hearted people out there, because they're giving you advice and you shouldn't always take it, okay? When I was growing up and I was like, I wanna go to New York City for college, everyone told me, don't do that. Don't do that. There are plenty of good schools in Indiana. You're gonna waste so much money going there. If I had listened to them, my guidance counselor, even some people in my family, again, all well-intentioned, everyone only knows what they know based off the experience that they've had. They just want what's best for me. They only think they know what's best for me based on what was best for them. They'd never lived in New York, so they wouldn't really know. So again, watch out for all those well-intentioned people giving you advice. They're trying to look out for you, but it might be stifling you. Or you know how some people say like, oh, I'm just gonna wait a few years, save up some money, and then I'll go do that. I'll go travel, or I'll go move to Paris. Like, in a few years, boo, you're gonna have a whole nother life. You're not gonna do that. Don't let anyone tell you like, oh, just save your money and do it in a few years. Like, has that ever happened? You know how people say, be the change you want to see in the world? I mean, I say that all the time. It's not just about being the change you want to see in the world. It's that you already have been doing that, but you might not have realized it. Maybe you really liked that pink shirt, but you didn't get it because it's too feminine. Like, that's kind of dumb. Again, valuing other people's opinions over your own opinion. No! Respect. We need to respect everybody, right? But how about respect your own opinion too? Like if you're 3 years into school and you say, wow, I should drop out, I hate this system, but yet you're still getting a degree because that's how society works, you're also perpetuating the idea that that's how it's going to work because you're not being the change. you're being the abiding by the rules. I'm not hating on y'all. I'm like, hey, everyone does what's necessary for themselves to, you know, live their life how they want. But it would be, I guess, inauthentic to say that you're being a part of the change. I don't have the answers. Maybe that's the way. Maybe we should just all play the game instead of being the change. I don't know. Maybe it is naive. But also, no, it's not, because everything that's ever happened in the world, like, happened because some people changed it. I don't know who needs to hear this, but sometimes that guy's just not into you. He don't like your ugly ass. He don't want you, okay? He don't want it. So stop making yourself feel bad that you are not what this other person wants. I'm talking relationships, baby. I'm talking love and lust. Look, you look the way you do. You have the personality you do. So does that person, and me too. This is what we got to offer, okay? Work with it. When people aren't into you romantically or sexually, it's not anything against you, yo. It's that they have a different preference. And can you be mad at them for that? Yes, maybe if you're in like an exclusive relationship and you have agreements in place. But even that, it's like nothing's ever sure. Even if you are in an exclusive monogamous relationship and they do find somebody more compatible, what? You just want to hold on to them forever when that person is more compatible? All this to say, there's probably someone else out there more compatible for you. If not billions of people on Earth. How can there be, okay, what are there, 7 billion people on Earth? Okay, cut half of them out because they're probably out of our like dating age range. Cut half of that down because then now you're down to like male, female, non-binary. You still have about 1 billion people. If you can't find more than one person on Earth, like, damn. Meanwhile, I'm still looking. But I'm fine. I'm actually not looking. I'm really happy. I've even questioned why we're so enamored by the idea of finding someone. Like, what if the way to live life was alone? And of course, friendships and maybe some relationships here and there, but what if the main focus wasn't on finding one partner? Again, these are the things that I'm saying throughout the video. It's like, the only reason we think there's one soulmate for all of us, or that that idea is romantic, is because that's the way we've been conditioned. That's because everyone else before us decided that that's the way to look at this life. Okay, now, whose choice is it? Ours to decide if that even makes sense. Basically what I'm trying to say is he don't like you. He's just not into you, okay? That has nothing to do with you. That has everything to do with him, okay? You see you? I'm like looking at a tripod right now. You see that tripod? You're hot. You got it. Maybe it's hidden, but you got it. And anyone who doesn't see it, well, then they're not the ones. That doesn't mean you gotta like flick them off. They're just not the ones for you for now. Like, who are we to think that we're the only like hot one on Earth? Okay, you're gonna be with a boyfriend, girlfriend, and think that they're not going to be attracted to other people. That's crazy. That's crazy. Sometimes people aren't into you, and that's okay. Not everyone's gonna like you. Even on a friend level, not everyone's gonna vibe with your personality, and they don't have to, because again, you don't like everybody. It's not personal. It's not personal. Except those glasses. No, I'm kidding. In one of my Milan videos, I was wearing a look that I liked that day, and I was like, let me tell you something, boys and girls. Today is a good day to look good. So if that piece of clothing on your body is not your favorite outfit, why is it on your body? Yo, tomorrow's not guaranteed. Gotta look good today. Keep it moving. Again, how dare we play with the game of life to act like tomorrow's guaranteed? Wear what you like today. Wear that new shirt and those pants you like today. It doesn't matter if no one's gonna see you today. Wear it again tomorrow when they do see you. Life's too short to not be looking good every day. Or not even looking good, just being happy with how you look. You could walk outside in sweatpants and your hair's down. Like, it doesn't matter as long as that's how you feel your best. Yo, leave your dishes in the sink. Leave them in the sink. You don't want to do them, and that's fine. Guess why? Because you don't have to. Unless you have roommates. But if you live alone, you know, sometimes we feel like we're like forcing ourselves, like, oh, I gotta do this, and I gotta do that, and I gotta do the laundry, and I gotta do. You actually don't need to do any of it. Your dishes aren't going anywhere. Your dishes can sit right there. You go live your life, and guess what? When you come back, they'll be there, yes. but you can do them then. Yeah, I think it's been a few years that household chores stopped stressing me out. Like, okay, I'm sorry, there might be some dust in the corner over there. I'll clean it up before someone comes over. In fact, I only clean up when people do come over. Because I'm pretty at ease with Earth's materials, I guess we could say. Dust, a little like smudge here and there. I'm pretty fine with it. Maybe going an extra day without washing the pillowcase. Like, I know these things are kind of gross, but they don't stress me out anymore. They used to, though. I finally realized, you know when I get the best work done? In a creative, like, my creativity is fueled the most? When I'm not working. Yes, you heard it correctly. I get the most work done when I'm not working. When I'm not working is when I get the most work done. Because, imagine this, why do we have all these brilliant ideas in the shower or when we're driving? Because you're not on your phone. Because you're finally like, there's nothing else to stimulate yourself besides your own thoughts, and so you have to start, like, I guess, talking to yourself. And that's like what creativity is, actually. In fact, I think most people who are creative have one thing in common. Not necessarily that they're creative people. I think everyone has like something in them. It's more that they are able to shut everyone else out. They've got the discipline. That's what creative people have done. They have the discipline to be like, you need to go over there, you need to go over there, because I need to focus on this. I can't get this beautiful video done. I can't get this beautiful painting, this poem written, if other people are jibber jabbering through your ear. Actually, in the past 2 years, I've gotten more into like the Pomodoro technique. I use this app called Forest. You do 25 minutes, stop, then you get up, you stretch. You remember that, okay, yeah, life isn't always just about like work. I think a lot of my best ideas, like dating with Damon and Around the World in 80 Dates, stylistic choices are when I'm literally out and about doing my thing and I pick up a random magazine and I'm like, oh shit, I should do that. That looks kind of cool. Or you're watching a movie and you're like, huh, that got me thinking for this. There was some philosopher who said one time, like, there are no original ideas and that all art and creativity these days is just copied and recycled and like reused and remodified into a new product. But that our own creativity is actually just like someone else's ideas before us. What'd Missy say again? My style can't be duplicated or recycled. Not your style, Missy, but someone could take some inspiration and create their own thing from it. A lot of my most brilliant ideas were not when I was like this, but rather when I was like this. Well, everyone, thank you for watching this video. I hope you got something from this. I know this was a long one, which it should be. It was kind of like a little therapy session in itself, except that I was talking the whole time. That is what's nice about an app like BetterHelp or therapy, counseling in general. It's that, again, you're able to talk about yourself for the whole time and not have to worry about like, shit, am I talking too much about myself? That's the whole point, figuring it out and having someone who doesn't know one thing about you help you do that. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to download BetterHelp and sign up, please use my link so they know that you came from me. And leave your questions and comments in the comments below, and I will be down there answering them with you. And in chapter 4, we'll probably start furnishing this place. Later.
He's no longer 20, he's 30, he's Damon Dominique.